It's me, Represent, reporting to you, letting you guys know a major flood is headed our way. For all those who are on the Texas coast, in the area of Houston, Beaumont, and Lake Charles, and some surrounding areas in Louisiana. This is a warning, you guys. I know you probably have already been hearing it from your local meteorologist and from Weatherman Plus and other reputable meteorologists on this platform, which is YouTube. So it goes on to say that parts of the Texas Gulf Coast may see 20 inches of rain from Tropical Storm Nicholas, which they're now saying is could possibly be a hurricane. The Texas Gulf Coast and southwestern Louisiana are under threat Monday, with Tropical Storm Nicholas bringing a life-threatening storm surge, isolated tornadoes, and significant heavy rain up to 20 inches in places. The National Weather Service said Nicholas could strengthen into a hurricane before making landfall on the northwest Gulf Coast later today. According to the National Hurricane Center, the storm is large, projecting tropical storm force winds up to 115 miles from its center. A hurricane watch is in effect from Port Aransas, east of Corpus Christi, to San Luis Pass, south of Galveston, and other alerts include the Houston metro area, which is the area that I'm currently in now, which was soaked by Hurricane Harvey 4 years ago. And we know that was very, very dreadful. It was awful. And I wish I would have vacated the city before Harvey hit. But we had local politicians telling us to stay in the city of Houston. Everything was going to be okay. There was no need for us to gridlock the freeways. They were more concerned of the freeways being gridlocked because all the amounts of people who were going to be trying to get out at that time. And then we also know that these cities and states get a lot of federal funding for the amount of people who are in the city at that time. So if you have people fleeing the city, their funding, it will be affected. And I'm going to say allegedly, but that's really how it really is. And we had conflicting messages at the time of Harvey. I'm going to get back to this article. We had the governor, which is our Governor Abbott, here in the state of Texas, telling us if you're in the Houston area, you should get out. You should get you and your family out until the storm passes, until the area clears up. But then you had the mayor telling everybody, well, we're going to have all the resources we need in the city of Houston. There's no need to leave. I don't care how many resources you have. If people can't have access to it, if people are flooded inside their homes, how are they going to get to it? So you guys, I'm just saying that so you guys can learn. So when these storms head your way, because it's only a matter of time these storms head your way, I'm not trying to provoke any fear, but this is the latest weapon that's also being used against us. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. When these storms head your way, you would know what precautions to take for you and your family. That goes on to say that Nicholas is currently in the western Gulf of Mexico, roughly 45 miles northeast of the mouth of the Rio Grande. The storm has maximum sustained winds of 60 miles per hour and is moving north at 12 miles per hour. The NHC said in its 11 a.m. Eastern Time update, Nicholas would trigger considerable flash and urban flooding as it brings total rainfall of 8 to 16 inches across coastal areas in middle and upper Texas over several days of the week, the NHC said. For a broader section of the coast, including southwest Louisiana, people should expect to see 5 to 10 inches of rain, the agency said. This is a life-threatening situation, the NHC said, urging people in the areas abroad, urging people in the areas under broad storm surge, warnings to act now to protect your life and property and to obey any local evacuation orders. A huge inland swath of the Gulf Coast, reaching from Corpus Christi northward past Houston and extending eastward more than halfway across the Louisiana coastline, is under a moderate flash flood risk for the next 3 days, the NWS warns. A relatively rare warning of a high risk of flash floods is in effect for a smaller area that roughly corresponds with the hurricane watch zone. As of Monday morning, the storm was moving both slowly and erratically, the Hurricane Center said. It's wiggling or wobbling all over the place, NHC Director Ken Graham said in a briefing about the storm. Nicholas is also lopsided, which its center is relatively close to the shore. The bulk of the storm's wind remained far out over the Gulf, according to satellite images from Monday morning. And because the system is pushing a massive amount of water far ahead of it to the north, rain bands have already begun hitting the coast in Texas and Louisiana. Forecasters expect Nicholas to gain a bit of forward speed and move more to the north, a pivot that will largely determine which area are hit the hardest. The system is expected to make landfall late Monday afternoon or in the evening, which we're seeing some rain in right now. But before it does so, Nicholas will likely move along the shore, dropping significant amounts of rain on the coasts of northeastern Mexico and South Texas. The NHC said climate change has been linked to the more frequent occurrence of hurricanes. So you guys say, huh? In addition to strong winds, many of the most dangerous storms in recent years have brought tremendous amounts of rain, create new threats to people and infrastructure far inland from the coast. So, I'd just like to encourage you guys, or if you are in this area, I know a lot of viewers follow me, or in the Houston area, in the Texas area, you guys already know what to do. We have been through this. Unless you're new to the area, we have been through this millions and millions of times. Make sure you have time now. It's raining outside, but it's not flooding yet. They're not expecting it. We don't really go with what they say, but from what we're seeing, since it's not flooding in the city yet. You have time right now to go out there and get what you need. Make sure you have enough food. Make sure you have enough water. Make sure your gas tanks are filled with gas. They're telling us, they may tell people at the last minute to evacuate. This is the same thing that happened a couple of weeks ago out there in Louisiana with Ida. They didn't tell those people until that storm was almost to their neck that it was time for them to evacuate, a lot of them. And they were only able to leave with the clothes that they had on their back and the shoes that they had on their feet. A lot of those mothers were telling me they couldn't even get the supplies that they needed for their children, for their little small infant babies. So let's learn from everybody else's experiences. We already know, as native Texans, as native Houstonians, the damage that these storms do and how severe they be. So make sure you have your candles and your batteries, and if you have a generator, make sure you have enough gas for your generator. If it's a gas generator, make sure you have your gas stored in a secure place. Make sure you have preps in your car. Make sure you have all the tools that you need in your car, as far as changing your tires and charging and the battery cables for your battery. Everything that you may need. Make sure you have the devices to plug up your phones and your computers and whatnot. Make sure that they're fully charged right now before this storm hits, because we also know that most of the time the grid goes down, and when the grid goes down, the water is also down, and so we won't have clean water to take baths, to brush our teeth. So make sure you have a lot of water. Make sure your house is clean right now, because like I just stated, when that grid go down, the water is nasty and contaminated. And then it's hard for you to be able to clean up your areas and things of that nature. And make sure that you, just fill up as many containers as possible of water. And, if you don't have a lot of water, you need to get some water, like right now. Y'all, these things are very serious. Have a sense of urgency. If you have sick loved ones, make sure you have your bug out bags together. Make sure you have everything together, so if these people say, oh, or if you think, or if you feel in your gut you need to evacuate, you do so. They say it's going to be life-threatening, so if you have sick loved ones, make sure they have everything they need. If they're on oxygen, make sure you have a backup source where you can, plug up their oxygen tanks, and make sure they still are able to get the oxygen that they need. And if you don't have those things to accommodate your loved ones, you need to find somewhere that does as soon as possible, because y'all know how dirty it gets in Houston when it floods. We saw bodies coming out of the cemetery, out of the coffin during Harvey, flooding and just all down the street. We saw these things, y'all. We can't forget how bad it gets here. And to my other viewers abroad, please get yourselves together. Get your houses in order, because it seems like these storms are affecting everywhere, everywhere. And you don't want to be caught off guard. You know, you have to act as if this is about to happen to you. Because you never know when a tornado just going to strike, or a hurricane just going to strike, or a flood just going to strike. The same examples and suggestions that I just made to the local viewers here, you should do the same. Keep your bug out bags ready. If you have children, keep a bag for your children ready. Keep enough water supplied in your house. Keep enough food in your house. You don't want to wait to get ready. You stay ready. These days and times, y'all, is cruel, it's evil, it's agendas, and I'm gonna say allegedly, but you guys know how I feel. And matter of fact, that brings me to this point right here. Please follow me on my other YouTube channel. I will leave a description. I will leave the links in the description box because I'm able to speak more freely on that channel. I've already received a couple of strikes over here, so that's why my content hasn't been, you know, the way that it usually is, because I have to be very, very safe of what I'm saying and doing on this platform. But if you really want to know how I feel and what's really going on out here, go to my other YouTube channel, and it's Zan Harold, ZANHARROLD. So it's really like Zan, ZAN 0011. And you guys look at those lives, and y'all listen to those other viewers and what they're saying. So we get more in depth in our conversations and in our ways of communicating over there than I can do here, because all this stuff that's going on, it's just a lot. And like I said, if you really want to know how I feel about it, go over there to that channel. But everybody get prepared. Get prepared. We are living in some troubling times, and we cannot depend on these so-called leaders, and I'm going to say allegedly, when it comes to our lives. We see what they're rolling out. We're seeing what they're trying to make us do. So you guys be careful. Let me get off this platform because I don't want to get myself in trouble. And please follow me on BitChute at Zan Harold, ZANHARROD. My Patreon page, I have my survivalism class starting this Friday. So if you'd like to be a part of the survivalism class, I'm giving out all this information on how to survive these times, agencies and organizations you can get grant money from to start your own homestead, to start your agriculture business. You get money for these things. And also, if you've been affected in the storms, and if you've been affected by the virus, like all of us have, you get grant money for these things. I'm going to have my classes starting this Friday on my Patreon page. Also, if you're interested in community living on one of my properties, I have 2 properties here in Texas. If you're in the Texas area and you want to get with like-minded people like myself, and you want to invest in some of the property and live in the area and live on the land, or if you just want the the land just for when you need as a bug out location, I'll put your name on the deed. We help one another. Everybody have to bring something to the table, and I'm not just saying money. I'm talking about skills and certain preps and things that you have. We have people already a part of this, and we're going to start building right away. Email me at prepperzan@gmail.com. That's PREPPER ZAN ZAN@gmail.com. Now the process, it might take a couple of days because we have to get things notarized. As far as when you make your initial investment, you have to get documents notarized, these agreements, for it to be legal for you on your end and legal for us on my end. And so it's a process. You have to read everything thoroughly. You can look over everything with your lawyer. I would encourage people to go out and view the property. We have a lot of people go out and view the property. Everybody love it. Nobody's had anything bad to say. These are very, very safe areas that you don't have to worry about anybody getting into doing a SHTF situation. And I'm glad that God had allowed me to be able to secure these places. It's surrounded by huge lakes of water. If you have a boat, if you want a boat, you can also have it there. We have a marina there. We have wild game and fishing, and it's just a lot of great amenities and accommodations. So you can email me at prepperzan@gmail.com. I'm also on Twitter as prepperzan. And yeah, y'all, let's stay together. And I don't know how long I'll be on this platform. So if you'd like to continue to follow this content, please do so on these other platforms. Please keep your eyes and ears open. Listen, pay attention, pay attention, pay attention. We are living in some troublesome times, and we are all in for the fight of our lives. Keep surviving. ZanHarold.com.